Hello, Matt.
Hello, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. For the visual, oh no, was it already cutting off?
It just made a and
Oh
it made a
no.
noise. No, it's all right. We're all right. We're all right. It's all good.
So I'm in my shed. So I'm literally testing out the bandwidth. This might be a risky episode to do Spider-Man Homecoming on, but I'm testing out my bandwidth, and I'm in my shed, and I'm thinking of doing the pods in here while we're at a time in the hour when my children are still awake.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the way. It's the way to go. You just need the dongle. That's the Wi-Fi dongle, not your. Not...
I think I'll do. I think I'll get one. I'll get one. Should help. But this is okay though, right? Am I sounding all right now?
Yes, you're sounding good. You're looking good. The
I've
light.
got full bars.
Well, there you go. And the light is doing favours for your face. It's honestly, mate. You're looking 30 years younger. That is.
Thank you, mate.
Looking incredible, mate. What did you get up to this weekend, mate?
Oh my goodness, I've been gigging. Been gigging with me old coverage band, Jam Jar Band. I mentioned it last week. What else have we doing? Pretty much, honestly, literally that's my weekend. Oh, we've been talking about She-Hulk as well. That's what we spent our weekend doing as well.
Oh yeah, She-Hulk in the morning on Saturday. I went to Kent to see Sophie's, well, both of our dear friends, and so Ellie is Sophie's best mate. She's just had a kid, and Ellie's partner is Will, who owns the brewery. This is, I will get to the end of this story anytime soon. Will, her partner, owns the brewery that I had the beer at, the Whitstable Brewery.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
And he said that he was very pleased with the sound of the can opening on that episode.
I mean, it did sound good. It sounded very pleasing.
It was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous beer to have, and it had a gorgeous noise to it. Also, I say that because I'm also eating my dinner, so you're gonna get ASMR of me.
Got indigestion already, mate.
Delicate, indigestion. There might be a bit of gas later on, and it's everything. We're gonna have a whale of a time as we explore Spider-Man Homecoming.
Here we go. I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're at this point in Phase 3 where we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Sony have given Marvel Spider-Man.
It's weird. I remember this being a real moment when I first watched it. It was the first real collaboration that Sony and Disney have put together. Even that beginning bit, you see the Sony logo, Columbia logo. You get the first kind of intro, the prologue, effectively, and then it goes to the Marvel Studios ident. It's amazing
with the Spider-Man music.
Yes, with the classic music.
Mr. Man, it's Spider-Man, watch out, he's a Spider-Man. Oh, it was.
It's classic.
What an intro, and it was it's amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It isn't without its issues. But...
It's got a few issues. I think that's fair to say. It's definitely got a few issues. I think there's all kinds of things that I think they were teething through. I think in terms of a first film of the trilogy, the Homecoming trilogy. But I remember just being super, super stoked when it first came out, and just having this kind of collaboration. This felt like a real kind of multiversal across the studios kind of connecting, and it meant something. I think it meant something to the fans, this movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm going to go straight in. The film footage beginning to it Well, I know, strictly speaking, that's not really the beginning of it. We do see tombs, the Avengers headquarters. We get the aftermath of New York, and the debris from that.
Yep.
Then it's quite good because they use this film to very much link the other films up, and you know that we're headed to Avengers Infinity War territory here. But I like the after we go into kind of filmed footage. So Spider-Man's or Peter Parker's filming this footage. I would have liked it, and it kind of alluded to it when they were in the car. I thought it was going to end with an attack on the car, but we were going to see that in like documentary form.
Oh, cool!
And that would have been like Cloverfield-esque, like found footage. Like esque, but it doesn't. It's like anticlimactic because it just kind of finishes, and then you go straight like him and Tony Stark are chatting, and I'm like, why? What was the point?
It kind of pulls out, doesn't it? You don't really get much of a payoff from it. I really liked that bit where it's kind of a really candid documentary style, teenage like media studies kind of submission for a module. He's probably been asked to do something to submit. I know, and he's gone, yeah, I'm going to do this really cool thing. I don't know, maybe not, because he wants to keep anonymity, but I really liked it. What I really love is that you really are engaged on this kind of true youthful version of Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland does an incredibly accurate depiction on kind of just getting this high school student and just getting an understanding of actually he is a kid. He is just a kid with superpowers in a suit, and they play that tone really nicely throughout, I think. But for me, like, see this thing. See, I'm of the generation of Tobey Maguire, right? So Tobey Maguire and like Andrew Garfield as well, especially, are kind of like my Spider-Men effectively. And I particularly, I think I'll always have kind of a closeness with Andrew Garfield's kind of depiction, even though yes, it was still kind of like high school. You just kind of, he had a more mature edge to the character, I think. Much as Tobey Maguire did as well. But this was quite a new, refreshing film blockbuster version, I thought. Before we go any deeper, my friend, I am so desperate. I'm so desperate to listen to this summary.
Oh! Yeah, that summary that I
certainly got ready.
Absolutely.
Boris is manically typing away.
Got ready.
He was eating while I was talking, and then noticed that I was about to lead into a summary, and his arm stretched right out immediately.
Whoa, here we go. Straight into I've got a bit of talking about rotten tomatoes. I've got a bit of tomato stuck in my tooth.
Oh, delicious.
Delicious. It was, mate. That was trying to hide for tomorrow morning's breakfast. Here's a synopsis.
All right.
Thrilled by his experience with the Avengers, young Peter Parker returns home to live with his Aunt May. Under the watchful eye of mentor Tony Stark, Peter starts to embrace his newfound identity as Spider-Man. He also tries to return to his normal daily routine, distracted by thoughts of proving himself to be more than just a friendly neighbourhood superhero. Peter must soon put his powers to the test when the evil Vulture emerges to threaten everything that he holds dear.
Good. What are your first impressions on Vulture, by the way?
I mean, Vulture, it's the same way as the Abomination, right? Vulture, who is mostly known as Toombs, let's be honest, right?
Yeah, he is,
for this whole film. So, my view of it was, so I put on my notes, not really sure what his motive is during the whole of this film. So, at the beginning of the film, their work ceases because Tony Stark basically wants to go through all of what the wreckage himself, right? Wants to clean the wreckage himself. So they lose jobs. He's not happy about that. But then for the rest of what is his motive for killing a teenage boy?
Exactly.
And what is his motive for recklessly using alien weapon? He's saving his family. He's got he loves his daughter and his wife, and there is absolutely no clue as to why he would be supervillain.
He's not a bad guy.
No, he's got no
He's not an
reason
antagonist.
to be. So why is he trying to kill someone he's literally just met, and also wreaking havoc? He's got no reason to do that. Like someone like the Joker has absolutely got a reason to be the villain of the piece.
Yeah. I think that this is kind of like my main gripe, effectively, is the fact that we had this villain where I don't think we needed it. Again, it's one of those movies similar to Iron Man 2. We didn't need it. I think I'd much prefer just telling the story, especially for the first movie, of just a high school student who has superpowers.
Yep.
Just doing neighbourly things.
Yeah.
And having kind of just a high school relationship with his friends, and Ned finding out, maybe Liz finds out, and all that kind of stuff. And that Liz, it's Liv, isn't it?
Liv.
So she finds out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Liz. Sorry, I've got Liz Truss in my head too much at the moment. It's upsetting me. Could you imagine Liz Truss being Liv in this film?
Right. By the way, I've got to correct it. It is Liz.
It is it? Oh my god, really?
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Laura Harrier plays Liz, mate. Yeah.
Oh Jesus! And I'm just going to say that all the time and think it's the wrong Liz. Yeah, maybe that's what we needed in terms of that first movie.
Just no villain, because also all of it would have made sense still, because he would have been reckless when saving his friends from the lift. With oh my god, he's got the bomb, and his best mate's got the bomb, Ned.
Yeah.
And he saves them, causes a bit of a scene. So Tony Stark, I'm getting at, still has a reason to take him off the course and be a little bit worried about him. So at no point does this villain ever need to be there. Absolutely, like, and as you say,
there's a moment when Toomes, he kind of has a conversation with one of his henchmen, and he didn't do what he said. And he basically was like, look, do you want me to tell your wife what you're doing? And then he grabs that weapon and he accidentally incinerates him. And he goes, hey, I thought this was an anti-gravity gun. And he was like, no, it's the wrong one. That's the anti-gravity gun. So he never has intention to kill.
No.
So in that moment right there, and it must have been John Watts, who directed the movie. It must have been the intention. But at that moment, you go, well, okay. So he's not much of a villain. He's just a dad doing something that he thinks he can only do to protect and serve his family. Then it humanizes the character. It doesn't make him hateful. You don't find him as much of an antagonist. But then even more so, then it's less reason for him to be a villain.
Yeah. He certainly wouldn't want to kill Peter Parker at any point.
Yeah. He's a vigilante, isn't he, really?
Yeah. Very, very bizarre use of a villain in this film, for sure. I wasn't really keen on that part of it at all.
Maybe as a little pitch here, the second one, I mean, just taking away the fact they went to Europe in the second one, but maybe they just stayed at home, New York with this. But the second film was very much focusing on the high school students, with a villain involved. But this first movie maybe should have came second, where you tap into the vigilante. And then obviously Spider-Man is a vigilante as well, and he's seen as a vigilante by the Daily Bugle, and that gets evolved from there. So you could probably start threading that story with Vulture and Spider-Man.
And the other thing, so we just recently watched Dark Knight, didn't we? And one of the scenes, so very early on, Toomes isn't there, but his thugs are, and they're in that shop, aren't they? Right, and they're dressed. They've got Avengers masks.
Oh yeah.
And doesn't that remind you of The Dark Knight, where there's other Batmans, around, and that really reminded me of that scene. And then, like you say, with the case being that vigilantes is actually that's perfect. It's like this is a world in which the Avengers exist, and that people are using that for crime, or I'm sure there'll be like some reckless people who would try it, like think they've made the alternative Iron Man costume and then die from it, or cause all kinds of shit from it. And also another thing that was a bit too Batman-esque for me was, so all of these weapons are just lying around the world, like or this small area that this film is in, right? There's just all these weapons that can cause like a whole building to just be ripped into, or a whole boat to be ripped into. And I'm like, they're just laying around. So I'm like, it would turn into Gotham. Because you just have absolute idiots using them left, right, and centre, and I don't really know what I feel like about that as a plot device either. That actually that wouldn't be allowed to happen. Like for example, Shield wouldn't allow it to happen, right? It would have been well closely guarded. All of that.
I think it opens up something brand new, doesn't it? The kind of collateral damage. The cleanup team, damage control, and this whole new department that's been funded by Tony Stark. I think there is something I would have liked to have seen as a plot device playing more into that. The fact that Tony Stark has bought a cleanup operation team to pick up all of that tech and for it to be confiscated for them to use it. But there is something ironic about that, and I think it is mentioned in a line at the beginning, the first part of the movie. Yeah. And I would have liked to have seen that. I like the concept of the cleanup guys and collecting all of this kind of gear and all of this stuff for them to use, either for the better or for the worse. But it wasn't really explored, and I think maybe they kind of missed the step there a little bit there, maybe.
100%. I think what I love about this is the comedy. Did the comedy in this film is chef's kiss.
It's so good.
You've got, I put golf course was hilarious, and I've just remembered what bit that is. Yeah, he can't shoot any, and it's genius as well. Like you don't think about that. Like I didn't think that, and of watching it back, I completely forgot that happened. But of course, there's nothing for him to hang off because it's just open. I just love that. Like those little details, and it feels like, because Marvel haven't had access to Spider-Man up to this point, it's like all these little things that they just couldn't wait to get in a film. Or
like there's just, especially in that bit, I think it's just a little bit before, a couple of shots before, where he kind of cranes up and stands in front of the United States flag, and it's very reminiscent of Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, where he kind of hands on the pole, and it's like, oh my god, I'm American, patriotism, and he kind of does that, and then there's just random bystander that just shouts at him, goes, hey you, are you Spider-Boy? It's Spider-Man, do a backflip, and he just does a backflip. It's great, and I think there's really charming moments. I really like in that moment as well, where he thinks some guy is burgling that, jacking that car. And then he kind of takes him out, and he goes, "I own this car." And then the car alarm goes off, and there's loads of people just having a go at Spider-Man. And then that's where Stan Lee comes in for his cameo.
Which I thought, actually, I didn't rate that cameo. I thought Stan Lee would have an incredible for a Spider-Man movie. Surely Stan Lee should have a shit hot cameo in this film.
Should have been Uncle Ben. They should have done a flashback scene, and he could have been Uncle Ben.
Oh my god! Could you imagine?
Could you imagine?
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
I'd love that.
But yeah, no, and my favourite piece of comedy in this, hands down, and it's one of my favourite ever Marvel pieces of comedy. You've got. You've got Spider-Man, and you've also got Happy. Happy's in the room as well. So Happy and Spider-Man in the bathroom, and then they're talking right towards the end of the film, and then they just have to wait whilst this kid uses like the sink, comes out the toilet. Do you remember?
That's certainly him. Yeah, at the end of the movie.
Oh my god! And it just made me absolutely crease up. Like that kind of comedy makes me piss myself, and I just love like you have to sit through it.
It's like you say, like again, this movie brings such a human touch, doesn't it, to Spider-Man? Like, what would life be like if Spider-Man lived in our world? Yeah. And I think that's what John Watts just absolutely knows. There's so much. There's physical timing in comedy. There's written lines in terms of timing and comedy as well. There's loads of punchlines. There's loads of, oh my god, I didn't realise Spider-Man couldn't do that. That's hilarious. You know, that's all him learning about how to use all of his other web shooters as well. When he gets an upgrade on his, stuff, he has like 750 different types of web shooting devices, and he's like, what? Yeah. What am I meant to do with that? All that kind of information that you don't. When you think of Spider-Man, you think he knows all this. He's all this tech and all this gear, but he's learning about it too. So you're still with him on a journey of origin, but just you're not starting right at the beginning, which is good. That's refreshing.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I think they muddy the waters a little bit, I feel, with Spider-Man's suit having that many abilities. I'm a bit like, so Spider-Man could essentially do anything with that. Like, the suit is almost too powerful for one superhero at that point.
Do you think it's too powerful too soon?
Yeah, definitely far too soon. But also, I think too soon, but yeah, also generally though as well. It's like actually I don't know. I feel like they needed to hamper that because essentially Spider-Man is Spidey senses slinging something, and also later in the films, like that's the case as well. Like Spider-Man's not suddenly indestructible or has like what she says. I think. She says like he's got over 200 abilities or something. Yeah, and I'm like,
he names her Karen, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, Karen.
Does she return at any given point?
I don't think so. And it's almost like they knew it was too powerful, so they give him a regular suit by the end, pretty much. So
I know it's meant to emulate Iron Man in a way, isn't it? Like and there's a whole reason behind that with Tony Stark kind of using him as his protege and all that kind of stuff, which is fine, which is another thread. But like you, I think it's just kind of the suit that he gets is far too advanced from. But you see the struggles that he's having within that. He's going, oh my god, there's so much more that I can do within this suit. But maybe that there should have been a step in between. Maybe. I don't know.
Potentially, but it was great, and I like the and then you have the other gag about the one I don't know, it's like death mode or something.
Shot and his eyes go red.
Yeah, and that's quite. And I love the eyes. I love the robot, like they're robotic eyes, and actually his eyes.
That's great in terms of the touch of the suit. That's brilliant. A brilliant touch within the suit. I think actually, in terms of the design of the Spider-Man suit, that is my favourite one.
Yeah,
by far. But it's really interesting how it works for Tom Holland. Like you couldn't see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire in that suit.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's something. Whoever designed that suit, actually, I don't know who designed the suit, but whoever did it so perfectly. It looks like a Disney one. Do you know what I mean? It's got the gadgets, it's got the merch. Do you know what I mean? You know it's going to sell web shooters.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But then you look at the Andrew Garfield one; it's quite punky. He skateboards, doesn't he? And he does all this kind of, quite punky stuff. So there's a punk element within Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire is just kind of more traditional, more kind of early 2000s as well. You've got that kind of feel, the kind of metallic kind of webs in his suit as well. And that kind of reminisces for me in terms of like the George Clooney Batman stuff. Like that suit's like you've got that kind of early 2000s feel for it. I don't know. It's just really clever. I think it's so flipping clever. You could spend absolutely hours delving deep into it, but I feel like they absolutely nail the suits.
Yeah.
I mean the iron suit that Tony Stark reveals at the end of the movie. that is such a good Spider-Man suit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I play on the Spider-Man game. Have you played it on PS4?
Yeah. I play Spider-Man. Yeah.
It is so good. All right, so dear listener, if you have not played it and you like Spider-Man, play it because it is actually a genuinely great story as well. But you get all the I think you get like 50 plus different Spider-Man suits that are reminiscent of all the other kind of versions of Spider-Man out there, and you get the Iron suit as well. And I'm always wearing that one. That's my favorite.
It's the thing with the only gripe I had with Spider-Man game was the lack of open world in it. Like, as in, it is open world. Like, you can jump about it, but interactive open world. Like, I'd like to run into shops and have NPCs reacting a lot more, and the combat. But I think that's naturally with superhero games. Is sometimes the combat buttons can feel a little bit repetitive, where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna smash triangle until I get somewhere, or which I think is just a superhero issue. But the look of it, the look of the game is insane.
It's great. It's so good. Such a good game. But yeah, I think in terms of coming back to the movie, there's talking about favourite moments.
Yeah.
One of my particular favourite moment is the reveal of Ned finding out that
oh my god, yeah,
Peter Parker is Spider-Man. and I think just kind of going back to it, I think the inclusion of Ned in this trilogy is
amazing,
brilliant. It is so good. Again, it's that human kind of touch. It's that what if your best mate was Spider-Man? What if your best mate was Peter Parker?
Can I also give a shout out to Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned?
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's great. And what a great character. And what a great actor.
And he comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, who was this guy before he played Ned?
Yeah.
Like, so good. Absolutely, it's just brilliant casting. And then, you kind of go, okay, here's his best friend. We probably will see him every now and then, placed in high school, and we'll see him in high school scenes, and that'll be it. But no, you pan round, and he comes to his, Aunt May's house to build the Lego Death Star. And again, the inclusion of Star Wars and the Lego Death Star is brilliant as well. Amazing. Such a good, again, teenage kind of touch to it. But pans round, you see him sat on the side of his bed, and he drops the Death Star, and you're like, oh my god, you could never see that coming, because you just assume that he's going to hold his anonymity for as long as possible until something goes wrong, and then that becomes part of a movie, his kind of downfall in the movie. But he immediately finds out so early on, and you're like, oh my god, okay, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, I put down a note that I forgot how early Ned finds out.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is mad. I also love I think you kind of alluded to earlier, where they do teenager really well. So when they're in the party scene and Peter Parker's debating whether to show off as Spider-Man or and say, hey, Peter Parker's great, he's a great guy. That was very Trump. But he's a great guy. He's great, yeah. Peter Parker, yeah, great guy.
Oh, it's great, yeah, super. Peter Parker's great, fantastic.
But yeah, and he doesn't go through in the end. But I quite just really nice moment and really good bit. Ultron's face. Hello?
Where? Hello?
Ultron. Hello? Were you just pausing? Or...
I'm back.
You're back?
Oh, no, I was just... I'm back. Yeah, I think you paused on me a little bit, but I think that might have been my internet connection. What are you saying about Ultron's face?
Ultron, the mask of Ultron.
You're looking like vultures.
No. You not see it?
Wait, no, I missed that.
Oh my god, Matt Jewson.
I missed that completely.
Spider-Man picks up Ultron's, the mask of Ultron, the face of Ultron, and it's a working Ultron. And he puts it on the floor. It's in the scene where he's in the bunker and he's going through the bag with loads of alien weapons.
What? I didn't even notice. I literally watched the movie about an hour ago.
Google it now, mate. Put in Ultron Spiderman
I'll
Homecoming.
do it late at night
And you
out
get
of fear of my Wi-Fi. But yeah,
fair. Yeah, it's got a fact. Like, I'll show it to you. Let me save your broadband by.
That's amazing.
Mate, I thought you'd be all over that like a rat.
I completely forgot about that. I'm impressed you spotted that.
I know it tends to be your right. Here you go. Yeah, look, how can I show that? Sorry, mate. Oh, you go. This will be it's loading in Reddit. That's gonna be a lot easier to view. There we go.
Here we go. Shut up.
Yeah,
That is, isn't it?
yeah.
That's mad. I didn't even notice that.
I know. So he's got Ultron's, Ultron's fate, and it's a working Ultron and everything.
That's cool.
So,
How the hell did they get that?
Who knows?
He dies in the middle of nowhere, doesn't he?
He does,
The
but
mission gets him.
they're alluding to the fact that Tony makes loads of copies of different things, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
So it's a working Ultron. It's a working Ultron, but it's not the Ultron that we.
He was going to make in Multiverse Madness. There was a bunch of Ultrons, wasn't there?
Yeah.
They used the Ultron project. So So he must have made loads and decommissioned them.
And then it's used, and I was actually like, I saw it on the screen. I was like, oh my god,
that's so cool.
Hark back.
Yeah. Another big thing that I really enjoyed in terms of the movie is Tony Stark. Is Tony Stark himself. I think I really enjoyed his inclusion into the movie. I think in terms of him, and this is the thing, he wasn't overwhelmingly in the movie.
No.
They managed
just
to
right.
just honestly just right. I think if they probably put him in a little bit longer, that would have. If say for instance, if they put him in the final battle, I would have been like, oh no, don't do that. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But they managed to kind of have this kind of like fatherly, paternal kind of like edge to it, and yeah.
And also, I like Robert Downey Jr. also looks like he's loving life in this film as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it. I think Robert likes acting with Tom Holland anyway, and I think that's quite clear to see in future and past films. But he just, I don't know. There's just an air of like, I don't know. He smiles a lot more in this film anyway. He's a lot more like the cocky nature is not there, and and it feels like, I don't know. Did you see that, or is that just?
Yeah, I know. I get that. I get that 100%. Like he just, he's maybe for me, he's too clean. Do you know what I mean? Like he's well kept, he's well groomed, and it's kind of like, okay, hang on, you've just been through Ultron, you've been through the Sokovia, you've been through Civil War. You don't look like you're affected by that yet.
No. And yet we had the second Iron Man film where he's like utterly like,
and he's like PTSD, like, and you just get this kind of like well to do, well mannered and well put together Tony Stark. It might have just been kind of just a simple kind of like he didn't, as an actor, maybe didn't think about that, or maybe they just wanted to take it a different direction. I would have thought we probably would have seen a little bit more of a kind of aftermath from Civil War. Because I mean, let's be honest, that's such an intense movie, and all that happening with Captain America and all that kind of stuff. That probably should have been kind of mentioned. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hinted in the fact that they're selling Avengers Tower. Like that is a clear kind of, okay, this is all going to pot. We're moving our facility, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe it was just a bit too clean. And also talking about superheroes' hair, he's like dyed his hair light brown. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah, we've got to do hair watch for the next Tony Stark moment.
Absolutely.
Has he got a match in?
When we do our superhero awards, who has the best hair?
Yeah. The best hair awards. Classic. Clearly. Tony, Robert Downey Jr. fantastic as Tony in this. What else in my naughty not?
Naughty nuts.
Never been accurate that Ned and Tom Holland's. Yes, it's not accurate, and we had the same issue. I'm trying to think when it was. I've got a feeling it was all the way back in The Incredible Hulk. We were talking about... So, I basically said it's not realistic that Tom Holland would ever have been othered an outsider at school.
Yeah. Expand on that.
Doesn't make sense to me that Peter Parker, Tom Holland or Peter Parker... wouldn't be part of the cocky lads in the playground, right? But he's not, right? He's the one that's like people are taking the piss out of, and he's not outwardly bullied. Like he is. They say bad comments about him, but we don't. Like, he's never in a fight and all that stuff.
No.
But I don't know. I don't get when he's paired with Ned. Fair, maybe. I just don't really believe that. I think Tom Holland can't play that. Needs to be someone a little bit more down and out.
He's too cool to.
Yeah, far too cool. He wouldn't. He'd be the cool kid in the class, right?
I mean, he's an absolute nerd.
Yeah, and he's not an absolute nerd though. Because he's going to the parties and he's involved in the scene. He's not like, I'm gonna stay home and not take part in this.
I feel like I think you're touching on something that I quite enjoy. It's the fact that they don't go, "Oh, Peter Parker's an absolute scientific nerd and he's going to get physically bullied all the time." And that's what they do in Tobey Maguire's movie. It's a very kind of comic book kind of generalized view on high school stuff, but the only thing that happened to Peter Parker is that he's verbally abused by another nerd.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I quite like that. I quite like the fact that he has a friend. He has his one friend. He's really content with that. We don't need to see Peter Parker being physically bullied because there's no point. There's literally no point. And also, I think,
but like I say, he wouldn't be though. Tom Holland, right? Take away the actor there, right?
Yeah.
No, take away the character, rather. You are casting happens because you are partly that part, right? Or you resemble that part.
Yeah.
I do not believe in any world in which Tom Holland would ever have gone to college or school and anyone would have said anything but, "Look at that dude. He's hanging out with the hardcore kids." I don't believe, there's nothing to the character. Okay, he's a little bit nerdy, but he's, like I say, he doesn't segregate himself from the group.
No.
He disappears randomly on nights out. I can appreciate that. But that's, a little bit far-fetched. Why would he run away from the prom? Right. I mean, unless you can fucking work out that he's Spider-Man.
I mean, everybody...
I think you pretty much will work it out yourself, wouldn't you?
Where's Peter gone? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Every time, every time Matt comes out, he's always with us for 10 minutes, he disappears, and just by chance, an hour later on the news, Spider-Man's got up to shit. It's happened 10 times in a row, but I'm reassured there's no coincidence about that whatsoever.
He keeps disappearing. It's so weird.
It's very bizarre. It was his birthday and he ran off. We all got left with a cake. He left his wedding. But yeah, so
I get it. I mean, I think
I get it, but
I get it.
I refuse.
I think that's just a casting thing. I think they very much casted somebody who would naturally, if you see them, they go, "Well, he looks quite sporty."
Yeah. But I think that's what I mean. I think I would have preferred. I mean, it never happened. But imagine if Ned was Spider-Man.
I mean,
That
somewhere in the multiverse that's happened.
that is. Well, I'm here for that though.
Yeah,
Give me a bigger person in general. Bigging up the old superheroes. I'd love to see that.
that'd be awesome.
And he also not alludes to being Spider-Man, but he wants to be in the suit from them. What I like is they don't make a fat joke out of that either.
No,
Because they could have quite easily gone like, "Oh, come on, mate, you're not going to fit." Like he literally says nothing about it. He just goes, "Can I try it on?" And it's just like ignored or whatever.
yeah.
But I would fucking, I'd love Ned to have I'd love Spider-Man to have a tummy. That'd be amazing. Here comes Spider-Man. He's not athletic, but there he goes. He's trying. He just comes down from a roof. Get out! Yeah. He's gone again. He's gone. He never captures the person, but he always tries his hardest. That's what I want. That's what I want in life. Deadpool. They could do that with Deadpool quite easy.
I mean, they did it with Thor, and then it all just got very controversial, didn't it?
Yeah, but they also made it like a fucking full on gag about the weight.
They did, didn't they?
Like you do it, and also he was like top. It was like proper showing it off, and it like, I was like, that's too far the other way. Don't make a gag out of it. It's just generally hilarious.
It could have happened because that Spider-Man suit was all kind of like fit to size situation, didn't you? Because when you get down the alleyway with Peter Parker, he kind of presses the spider and it fits him.
Yeah.
To how so Ned probably could have got it on. To be fair, I actually talking about that moment. That moment really reminds me of Back to the Future 2, in where the jacket that Marty McFly puts on when he's in the future, he presses it and it fits to size. And I don't know whether that's a nod to Back to the Future 2 or not. Dear listener, if you are listening and you know the answer to that, do let me know because I'm genuinely interested. Because there was lots of stuff going around that time as well, with Tom Holland playing Marty McFly in a remake of Back to the Future, and I don't know whether that was just a nod to it or not. But
you saw the hoverboard came out before the Ultron mask, though. Did you see that?
You're lying. You're lying. I just for a split second.
I wish you could have seen your own face.
Like a millisecond, I went, "You're joking." No. What? And I missed that?
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, that was cruel. That was cruel, Forrest.
That was damn cruel. Damn cruel.
Yeah, I think in terms of just going back to the relationship of Ned and Peter Parker, I think it's great. I love it, and I still love it. And I think it's something that I really hope they don't go down a route of Ned becoming a villain, as it was kind of hinted in the third movie. I really hope they don't. I just really hope they keep this kind of strong friendship. But, throughout, even when they get into the fourth movie, whatever the fourth movie will be.
Will there be a fourth movie?
I think so. I think there will.
I don't reckon Sony's going to allow it though. That's the issue, isn't it? It's all licensing. That's why otherwise we'd have. Well, we wouldn't have had one.
It is going off in a bit of a tangent now, isn't it? Because we've got the other Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We've got Madam Web, haven't we? That's coming out as a Sony solo project.
Sony put Venom. They put a bit of Venom in it in the world as well.
And actually in Madam Web, there's been a still of somebody looking like they're doing a Spider-Man kind of position on top of a van, and people were thinking there might be a recast or another introduction to a different variant Spider-Man.
Oh god! If you've got more than one Spider-Man at the same time, it's going to be getting into dangerous territory, and we're in.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
But I don't know if we're going to get another Tom Holland. I hope we do.
I really hope we do.
But let's be honest, we've not been very lucky when it comes to any more than 3 Spider-Man films of the same Spider-Man, have we?
No, and this is the thing. Like the Homecoming trilogy is brilliant, and I think in terms of a first movie for Spider-Man with this one, it does everything you need out of a first movie. It introduces the character brilliantly. It's comedic. There's really great characters, great B characters as well. There, in terms of another gripe for me, I think there was pacing issues for me, and I'm interested to know if you felt the same thing. I thought the movie was too long.
Yeah.
And I thought that there were too many sequences of threat with civilians. And you're going to laugh because
No.
that's a little gripe of mine anyway. But
Yeah.
genuinely, I thought there was just too many kind of like the ship moment. There was the monument moment as well beforehand. There was all kinds of kind of sequences where it felt like the stakes were a little bit too high. And then when it came to the fight scenes with, Tomb's gang,
Yeah.
I wasn't invested in that. I didn't really care about Tomb's gang. So when it came to fighting Vulture at the end, as much as I enjoyed the sequence, and especially the moment where Tom Holland's kind of under rubble and he's literally crying for help, at that moment genuinely makes me be like, oh my God, poor lad. Literally, it's like, you can see he's just a teenager, and I think he was 19 when he filmed this movie.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's this kind of, kid still within this kind of superhero. So I really liked that moment, but like, I just didn't care for the final battle.
But therein lies my gripe, though. So I as you know, I love a civilian scene. So the civilian scenes, I'll keep. It was too long of a film, and there was far too much baggage in there that could have gone quite easily.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest, or not biggest gripe, but and another gripe was there was well too many times where Spider-Man nearly dies. Or could Spider-Man be dead? Or it happens like 4 times in one movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is absolute overkill for like trapped under the rubble. Then at the end, and then there's another one quite early on, I think. Oh, maybe even the ship or something like. This is about 3 or 4 moments. I'm like, fucking hell, like. Repeat this often. It's like we know he's not going to die, so don't. There's no point in any of that.
No,
like, I never like the rubble one would have been the only one because, like you say, A, you get to see him as a kind of vulnerable teenager, and B, he gets this whole like Tony Stark element of you're not the superhero without the suit and all that stuff. So that for me works, and also works because we know what happens in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
A certain person with rubble and death and strife. But yeah, I don't. No, not the amount of times they pretend a false kill. I'm like,
no. The other final gripe I have with this movie as well are certain visual effects. There's some really obvious moments of a kind of green screen, blue screen situation.
Yeah.
Where I think it was the scene with Tony Stark where he takes his suit away from him after the ship being saved by Iron Man. They have this scene, and it's so blatantly pasted of a background, and it just doesn't. You can see the shading around Iron Man and Tony Stark in this scene, and also there's a moment when I think they do they're on a plane with Vulture. Spider-Man's on a plane with Vulture. Of the reflected plane, whatever it is. And there's this real kind of like visual effects where it's just a bit jolty. It doesn't really work for me. But like, I think maybe it was just a budget thing. Again, you got Sony doing it. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, mate, yeah, perhaps. Yeah, Sony and the tell you what, music was incredible, though.
Oh yeah, the music
soundtrack
spot
is
on,
beautiful for this film.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, I think
really good job.
The music does a really brilliant job of merging all of the last 2 movies, the first trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like, there's something really reminiscent musically in each of them. I think it's genius. I genuinely think it's genius.
Yeah. No,
it was really good. Oh, Forrest did a big cough there. That was a big cough from there, Forrest.
There you go. I'm better. Music really loved. Length, always. If it's longer than 2 hours, it needs to seriously be good for the whole time.
It was a bit long. Who's your favourite B character, mate? We haven't done this for a while.
Who's my Kate? It's got to be. Well, we know who it is. It can only be Ned, right?
I think it's got to be, isn't it?
It's got to be. It's got to be Ned.
Is there any honourable mentions?
Brand new. Honourable mention would have to go to Gwyneth Paltrow for her outstanding.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Let me talk to you about Gwen. Gwen, are you listening? Okay, Gwen. I've been waiting for this moment because I'm going to go back a little bit. So, because the first time we saw Gwen in Iron Man, and I spoke to you in our very first podcast, I think, about the fact that I really disliked that Gwyneth Paltrow was filmed in a Spiderman Homecoming at the end and didn't even realise that she was filming it at the time. So apparently the story is, and I think she said it on an interview once, is that when she was filming for Spider-Man Homecoming, she thought she was just filming for another Avengers movie. So that scene that she's in at the end, she doesn't know it's Spider-Man Homecoming. Gwen. Come on, mate. I'll let it slide. Okay? My mind's changed, but I'll let that slide.
But I've got to be honest, Matt. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter, and also it's quite it's quite a good moment. Yeah,
it's a good little set. It's a funny little bit where there's no press conference, is there? And he leaves, and there's a massive press conference. I think honourable mention. I mean, we have to mention the fact that Donald Glover makes an appearance.
Yes, and there's rumours around that as well that there's a deleted scene where he calls somebody. And apparently he calls Miles Morales.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
And that's the only thing with a Spider-Man 4 or a continuation of this.
Oh, we've got to see Miles Morales.
Miles Morales
on the big screen. We've got to.
It's about damn time.
It's about damn time. It
is about damn time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think as we get to the end,
can I do an honourable mention?
You go. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Fucking hell,
Forrest. Oh, fuck me. You answer your own bloody questioning, Matt. Go on, mate.
I was waiting for a return. Did it? We were playing tennis, and yet you dropped the ball. You didn't give it back, mate.
I went straight. I went, fuck this court. I'm going to the next one.
You grabbed the tennis ball and you fucking hoofs it over the net by yourself.
Who's your honourable mention?
It's got to be Zendaya for me.
Oh,
yeah. You almost forget that she's in the movie, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because you are led along not knowing MJ's name.
Yeah.
The whole movie up until the end scene where the teacher calls her Michelle, and then she goes, "I prefer to be called MJ," and you go, "Oh!" And I remember watching it for the first time, going, "Oh my god, that's MJ! That's brilliant!" And it's such a different take on MJ as well. So I think that's definitely an honourable mention. Obviously, she just nails the character. She goes into the next two movies. There's another one. It's got to be Aunt May, mate.
Oh,
I mean, and there's what's her name? What is her name?
Her name.
I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to try.
Marisa Tomei.
Okay, so Marisa and Robert Downey Jr. apparently used to have a relationship in the Hollywood, and Tony Stark makes a comment, I think, about Aunt May.
Skimpy underwear. Yeah.
So I wonder whether that was just a kind of like a nod to their previous relationship and stuff. But Aunt May's fantastic in it as well, and it's got to be mentioned straight at the end of the movie. Again, it pans around. He comes out from his bedroom, Spider-Man, and you see her, and she goes, "What the fuck?" And it cuts out. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. Such a brilliant moment.
Yeah.
End credit sequences.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I disappointment all round for me. I thought both. I'm like, it's just shit. It's like Tombs is one. Was like, okay, it kind of feels like it's going somewhere, and then it's like, no, I'm just going to save Peter Parker's ass and then go and see my family. I'm like,
there's been no follow up really to Tombs.
And
Has
to
there?
be fair, Matt, I'm glad there hasn't, because it's not, like we said, it's a non-character. He's a nice family guy, but then also a weird villain with no motivation. So it's a bit, but it's annoying because they've wasted that actor.
Yeah.
He's a credible actor, and they've wasted the actor on a pretty shit part. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he does what he can with the script, and he does a decent job, I'd say. But that's just not enough.
No. And Michael Keaton, his best part, Jack Frost.
Oh,
100% Jack Frost.
No,
mate. Jack
You're-
Frost.
you're wrong.
Oh, mate, Jack Frost. Oh, God, that movie. He drives away from the
You're
family
absolutely
home,
wrong.
and then he dies on the way. Oh, God.
Okay, this is a really good poll for Instagram. I'm going to put up a poll of what is Michael Keaton's best role. For me, it's got to be. Oh God. Oh, don't know. Oh, now I'm tied. It's between Beetlejuice and Batman.
Jack Frost. Oh. Yeah, Beetlejuice or Batman. Yeah.
What was the last end credit that we got?
Fucking Captain America, mate. Absolute rip-off. Absolute rip-off. And the thing is, I remember watching it, and it wasn't even funny. I didn't even find it funny. I couldn't even find the humour in it, because I was like, just don't bother. Yeah, you know how you felt in the last episode of She-Hulk? Oh, there is a massive delay, by the way. There is a huge delay with the Wi-Fi.
Oh, is there?
Oh, it's just clicked back. Say the word. Say the number.
Good.
Say the number 1.
2, 1.
3.
I keep. Okay.
We're on different planets right now.
We are literally on different planets. What do I do?
I mean, well, we're gearing towards the end anyway. So, mate, Matt is just staring.
Okay, I'm gonna let you lead this next bit.
Okay. Let me know when it might chase up or do something. So yes. You got thumbs up. No, absolutely. Okay, so this is like literally I'm talking to Matt, and he stood in Japan doing an interview for BBC News. So yeah, it was. I remember being in the cinema, and I just didn't find it funny whatsoever, and I feel like it's the equivalent of the last episode of She-Hulk, when they are just mocking their fan base, and I'm like, you really don't make me sit here for 15-20 minutes just to watch Captain America say a few words in front of a widescreen.
It was a waste.
You're back. Oh,
I'm back.
he's back. He's on fire again. Ooh.
Well, quickly, I'll just ask a question then. How many bags are you going to give this in your quavers?
How many bags in my
How many?
quavers?
How many? I should have stopped talking in the first place.
How many quavers in a bag? 3/4. I'll give it a good one. It'll be a good one. What about you?
Oh, I'm just going to give it just under 3/4.
All right.
Just under. I'm going to
Make a competition. Actually, no, just under. Just 74%.
I'm not going to do what you're doing. I'm going to go under. Literally just under yours.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. But it's next week. For me, next week is the big week, because I have never watched the entirety of the next movie we were about to watch.
I don't know what it is.
Of course you do.
Oh my god, my brain.
what
Was Ant-Man and the Wasp 2?
No. What controversial film do you absolutely love?
Oh
and
my
I haven't even finished.
Oh my god. Oh, it's Thor Ragnarok, isn't it?
Yes, I'm excited because I haven't finished it. So it's going to be a genuine surprise to me.
Do you know what? I'm genuinely scared to watch it again.
Oh, really?
because I think I remember it at a time where I was clearly on a comedy high, and I think I'm going to find issues with it, and I'm going to get upset at the fact that I found issues with it. So we'll see. I'm going in with a blank canvas.
Yeah, blank cat. Yeah, absolutely, and that's the good thing. We can both go in with blank. I think next week's podcast, if this was 7 out of 10, next week's gonna be 10 out of 10 podcast. So I am just gonna.
I mean, it's definitely again. It's one of those podcasts where waiting. You know, we've been waiting to do for a long time.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, so we get Thor Ragnarok, then we get Black Panther, then we get Avengers Infinity War. So we've got 3 cool weeks on the way. That's for sure.
Infinity War's coming a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be on Endgame before you know it, mate.
Oh, I'm not ready.
And in fact, oh, mate, that means, and I'm going to do this live because this is the type of entertainment our listeners love. But if we go out on a Wednesday, so Ragnarok, Black Panther, we are going to get to... Here we are. We're getting to Endgame before 2023.
Oh my god! Do we allow? Okay. Do we, Forrest? Let's do a little meeting right now. Okay, dear listener, just close your ears. Close your ears. Take your earplugs out. Okay, don't listen to this bit, dear listener, because this is a meeting. Okay, Forrest, listen. Shh, listen. Come in, Forrest. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Do we have a little mid-season break? Okay, and do something else, and then keep listening. And then we do
The big one.
yeah, and then we wait for the big one.
Maybe we do a bit of tension.
Sort of string them along a little bit, like, you know.
That sounds lovely. Maybe we could do Black Panther, and then after that, instead of going straight to Avengers Infinity War, maybe we'll hit them with a brand new, different film.
Hey, maybe we should do the Deadpool movies.
Fuck yeah!
Okay, listener, you can come back, listener.
Yeah,
That's all right. You can
listen,
put your headphones back in.
We have got an action-packed few weeks for you.
Oh, we do.
Can't wait for Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, we're going to be finishing Endgame so soon, guys.
Oh, so, yeah, we're going to... Oh, God. Can't wait. Fantastic.
Anyway.
It's been nice to see you, Matty boy.
I hope this Wi-Fi situation has worked in the old shed, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Occasionally, it's going to sound like I'm a BBC News reporter speaking.
I'll try and improve. I'll only try and improve, my friend.
Oh, fantastic! Brilliant.
I've delayed again.
Wow,
I've noticed that
your broadband is absolutely just given up. It knows it's the end, and this is. So I'm. And on that note, it's a goodbye from me, and it's a 5-minute wait.
Bye, listener.
Wow, it's gone. Right, see you later.